Hello, good people. Welcome to our show. Hello, bad people. Welcome to our show. Hello, welcome. If you want to learn more about SEO, how to get results, how to get more traffic, how to get more sales, even more, because last time I pay so much attention to sales than to get a lot more traffic, and I know some projects can fail with that just to get traffic without sales. It's annoying, and for me it's more important to sell. In the end, many things we can discuss today, especially when we have AI, when we have some huge competition, extremely competitive niche SEO, but you still have room even for new projects to get results. And I get a lot of great results with investing trading websites. We increase our traffic from 0 to 2000 people a day in extremely competitive niche when we compete with billion-dollar companies. And today we're going to discuss more. It's important to learn more, to develop what you have. I'm so excited to discuss all these things with Malte. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm great.
Yeah, we discussed before the podcast a little bit about the weather, about many things. You are in Berlin, and let me try to pronounce your second name, Landwehr. If I'm not right, tell the last pronunciation and more about your background, experience, and anything that can help our listeners to learn more about you.
Yeah, the pronunciation was quite good. I would say almost perfect. Yeah, I'm Malte. I'm currently an in-house SEO. Specifically, I'm the head of SEO at Idealo, which by almost any metric you can come up with is probably the largest price comparison website in Europe. And before that, I've been at Searchmetrics for 5 years, and an enterprise SEO software that was recently acquired by a competitor, where I had various roles in marketing and product management. And yeah, basically, I've been doing SEO for more than half my life, for 20 years now. And I studied computer science for a time. I thought I would obtain my PhD. I once co-founded an SEO agency. I did some broke angel work, basically helping startups for shares. And yeah, that's my background. I also did a little bit of management consulting, so I can do PowerPoint slides, and I know how to explain SEO so that people can read it on a BlackBerry in the back of a cab and understand it. So yeah, that's my mix of backgrounds, I would say.
Nice, nice. Awesome. For 20 years, I think many things changed, and I started my journey in 2008, 15 years ago. Oh, uh, for me, it's tough to count how many times I changed my strategy, how I changed my attitudes, because I started to buy backlinks to create content for search engines. Today, I don't do it. We had a team of writers who wrote about anything, any topics, weight loss, online games, finance, anything. Um, then Google ranked well all these websites. Then after Panda, after Penguin, we changed a lot of in our strategies. We Google fired all these people. Okay, I fired them, but Google pushed me forward in order to fire people who can write about anything. And today, of course, we pay so much attention to EEAT, experience, expertise, authority, trust. And I want to ask you, can you tell from your experience how you change your strategy in 20 years? What change did you started with black hat SEO or white hat SEO, and where we need to pay attention today?
Yeah, I have never gone fully down the black hat route. I mean, I've sometimes tried things out, but it was never like my main activity. I would say I've always been on the white hat slash gray hat side. I think there are actually no successful white hat SEOs. I think it's all gray hat. So for the listeners, maybe white hat would mean you just follow the Google guidelines. So you never try to get a backlink, for example. And gray hat is, I would say, you mainly follow the guidelines, but you skirt on the boundaries. And my strategy has changed completely, right? Also because I've had different setups. I started with just being myself, buying very cheap content, like literally the cheapest content I could buy. I paid like 1 cent per word. And that was when I wasn't doing maybe some more black hat text spinning things. Um, and then I went on to the agency side for larger clients where this kind of content didn't fly anymore. And now I'm in-house where everything is basically built for users, and then it's just about showing Google all the good things we are doing for users, and not really about manipulating the Google algorithm as I did maybe 10, 15 years ago. So I would say everything has changed about my approach.
Yeah, I agree. And I remember this time when I paid 1 cent per word. It's like $10 per $1,000. I even negotiated with some writers, for can you do it for $5, not 10? So yeah, and today, yeah, I agree. We pay a lot more, but we cooperate with specialists who can write content for Forbes, Investopedia, great websites because we help on this niche, and we usually search for people with proven record. So I don't use Upwork to find them out. I tried, but it doesn't work for me. I don't know how to find great offers on Upwork. Probably it's possible. I don't want to deny anything, but in our case, we usually search for people who can write for great resources, then to check their content. If we see SEO traffic, we reach out and negotiate about the price, about conditions. And of course, we are not looking for the price. We're looking for experience, for real experience. And I usually tell my clients, it's better to order one text than 10 texts. But with writer who knows the topic, who knows how to write. It's very important. 2 points. So if you are expert in one niche, but you don't know how to write, you can't. If you know how to write, but you're not expert, you can't. Google is looking for content that people want to read. So it's important to know. Can you tell your methods? How to find great writers from your experience? How you do it in most cases?
Right now I'm luckily working in an in-house setting where we just have people in-house who are experts at writing and are also experts at certain topics. We've also had good experience just reaching out individually to people to like contribute content. But I don't have a formula for this is how you find 100 people who produce good content. I can share a little anecdote on this topic, and this was even before the whole AI content thing. Back in my days at Searchmetrics, we were doing a project for one of the largest e-commerce websites in the US, where they basically went to us to create briefings, data-driven, with some SEO input on keywords, topics to cover. They then gave these to 3 really, really large content agencies in the US. So really three of the top 5, I would say. And then we also did duplicate content checks, and 40% of the content delivered from some of these really expensive content agencies that really have big brands, it was just copied. Just one paragraph copied from here, one paragraph copied from there. And then again, this was before AI, right? Like now it's even worse. Like people will sign up and say, hey, I will write content for you. They just put your briefing in ChatGPT, copy paste, send it to you. And this is also the reason why many text marketplaces and text agencies said like 6 to 9 months ago, we are no longer accepting new writers because we are just overrun by a flood of ChatGPT users who actually can't write, who just give you ChatGPT content. So I think this is going to be a challenge also going forward, because when you work with a lot of writers, external ones, and potentially even internal ones, you're going to have issues with copied content, and you're going to have issues with AI written content where it's maybe not clear if the content is correct or not.
Yeah, Awesome. I agree about that. And I don't remember when, but yeah, we stopped accepting any writers who reach out to us. So yeah, we usually search. We have some formula to find great writers. We use this formula, but if someone is asking, can I do it for you? No, you can't. Why? Because you can't. I have no time to check it out, your quality and anything else. So yeah, we use the same formula. Malte, you submitted a request about frameworks and mental models. Can you explain more how we can unite with SEO frameworks, mental models, and differentiate from templates or something like this, because it might confuse some people.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've been doing SEO for a while, right? So have you, so have probably many listeners. So when we are facing an SEO challenge, we often have intuition, right? We have a gut
Yeah.
feeling what is the right answer, and often more often than not, we are right. But as an SEO, you will often face challenges that are not pure SEO challenges, right? You will have product management challenges, prioritization challenges. If you're in an SEO leadership role, you suddenly need to think about how to structure teams, and you probably don't have intuition for these. At least I don't have it, or didn't have it when I started out. And there's this nice little thing called frameworks. This is basically packaged intuition. So there are experts who have been doing something for 20 years, and then 3 of them got in a room and they used all of their experiences to write down a framework that says, if X happens, do Y. And in many cases, it works. And especially from product management, but also from management consulting and many other disciplines like software engineering, there are these little frameworks or mental models that are sometimes 50 years old. But if you are facing a certain challenge and you know about SEO, you know about keywords and URLs and links and user intent, but to operationalize it with either a client or within a large company, you will face challenges of prioritization, budget, stakeholder buy-in, how to set up the team that deals with it, how to have check-ins with the team that is suddenly dealing with this topic that you care about. And this is where frameworks come into place. So I don't even mean specific SEO frameworks. I think the biggest benefit SEOs can get is look at frameworks from outside of SEO, frameworks and mental models from product managers, from management consultants. I think that's where SEOs can just learn a lot and then have a template that they can apply. And I think the most important thing when talking about frameworks is you will never find a framework that just matches your problem perfectly and just solves everything. But if you look at a couple of frameworks in a certain space and you use your own knowledge of your current situation and your judgment, then you can often come to very, very good outcomes and conclusions that maybe you would have had on your own as well if you spent 10 years working on that problem. But these frameworks can be a shortcut.
Yeah, well explained. And let's talk about SEO intuition. I always rely to SEO intuition. When you acquire experience, you can have this intuition, and sometimes I can deny data because of my intuition. So if I see some issues, I can tell what we need to do next because of intuition, and I love it. And sometimes I can predict, forecast what we can do better, with intuition, without data, because of this experience. Can you tell about your intuition, how to combine intuition and data? And let me share a short story about Jeff Bezos. Once he got a research team, and this team asked him to give more time to research about a new product. He denied. He told, we have enough data. Nobody knows what will work, but we can figure out by testing, by implement to release this product. And this product was Alexa. Today, almost all homes in the US have these products. And Jeff Bezos has this intuition, to figure out it's enough data, and this product can win the market, and it did. So tell your methods to combine data, intuition, and where you can rely more?
I used to think that everything has to be about data in SEO. And I think if you want to make small changes, data is your friend, right? You can test everything. But I think if you want to make big and bold changes in SEO and react to like very fundamental changes, either because Google changes the SERP layout in your space or something happens in the legal framework or on the supply side or the demand side for whatever space you are working in, I think data can sometimes be too slow. And especially in SEO, when we talk about testing, I mean, imagine you have a negative core update and you want to test your way out of this. You might have to wait 6 months to get any feedback on your test for the next core update, right? So you need to have some convictions, I believe. And you could be wrong, and then maybe you're running in the wrong direction, and you should make sure you should do everything you can to make sure your convictions are not wrong. And you should use data as much as you can. But there are just some things where you can't test the very last detail of it. And then it's sometimes just smart to think about what is the best thing for the user. And if I was a search engine, how would I react to this content format or whatever you are worried about? And then just go with the best guess instead of trying to test every single thing. I see SEO teams that use too little data, and I see SEO teams that use too much data or try to use data too much. So I can't even give a general advice. Situations are just very, very different. So there's no blanket advice like everybody should use less data or more data. I think everybody should find the pace where they make mainly right decisions and then move as fast as possible.
Yeah, I think it's like enough data, because over data might confuse when you have a lot of metrics, numbers, it might confuse what you need to do. But and you mentioned about priorities. You replied in the previous question about priorities, and I think it's very important, especially today when we need to create less but quality. And many years ago, we created a lot of content at scale, but it's tough to do it with quality. Can you tell how to prioritize? For example, if we have content strategy plus 100 topics, and I often see this issue when someone can share, look my keyword list. I see 10,000 keywords, and I usually ask how many writers you have, content creators, developers, and when they reply, I have only one, or probably I'm looking for someone who can do it. I think it's tough. It's tough, and it's better if you have limited resources. And even big companies have limited resources. They can't create a lot of content at scale, like SEMrush, Ahrefs, HubSpot. Big companies, but they create one piece of content a day, sometimes in a few days. So tell your methods how to prioritize things, especially to create content.
Yeah, like one thing I like is a framework for prioritization. There are actually two similar ones called ICE and RICE, so written ICE or RICE. And basically, you look at impact, confidence, reach, and then either effort or ease. And what that means is, let's say you have two content clusters, and both of them have the same search volume. Let's say there's 1 million people searching a month for it, so your potential impact is the same if you optimize for traffic. But then in one of these content clusters, it's completely new for you, and there are some strong competitors. And there's another content cluster where you actually already are ranking with 3 articles. So you can have high confidence that if you create more content, it will work well. And then you can use this confidence as part of your prioritization. And maybe going for a smaller content cluster where you have very high confidence, because you already know that blog articles are the right format and you already rank with 2 blog articles, you can have high confidence that creating 48 additional blog articles will work. And maybe there's another content space where you would have to create a video, and you have never created a video and you have never created content for that content space or that topic cluster. Then even though the potential reach or potential impact is the same, your confidence must be lower. Like if you are logical about it. And I think this is a very, very good way to think about priorities for content. And then for content specifically, I think what always makes sense is to periodically have a content audit and then decide, does this piece of content, does it need to be updated? Does it need to be deleted? Should I leave it as it is? Or should it be merged together with something else? And if you just write content for 12 months and you do a content audit every 12 months, probably you will find a lot of content you can delete, a lot of content that you can merge. My favorite story is always on this topic when I went to Las Vegas to speak to a company in the e-commerce fashion space. They had a blog, and I asked them, why have they created 8 years in a row a blog article called How to Tie a Tie? And most of the time, they even did a photo shooting for it, like not stock photos, but unique photo shooting. And at least 2 or 3 times, they even shot a unique video. And the reason is because the people on the content department always changed. They always thought, oh, how to tie a tie is an important topic for our readers. So they didn't check, are we ranking already? Do we have content we can update? They just produce new content. And I would assume that on the low scale, each time they did this cost $1,000 on the very, very low scale, potentially a lot more. And probably they could have 3 of these 8 years, there was no need to do anything. And the other years, they should have just updated the content that exists. So this is I always have this at the back of my head when I think about producing content at scale. Like, let's check what we already have and if we can optimize it.
Yeah, nice. Well explained. Love it. Let's talk about AI. When ChatGPT appeared, since then, around 5% of marketers, content creators, SEOs lost their jobs. And I think I can suggest that these people didn't adapt fast to this tool, because I don't think so that ChatGPT can replace people. Only people or experts who can adapt can replace them. For example, I grow my results a lot with AI. I think how I can adapt. I play with this tool a lot to check out, especially in trading, investing niche. So we are looking for ways how to create a lot of content, great content, high quality content. And in my case, I don't care about these AI detectors or something similar, because if it's content, if content is quality, Google doesn't care, people don't care. And we create a lot of content, and I advise anyone who lost their jobs to think how you can adapt AI to your SEO, because AI will not replace you. I think people who adapt to AI can replace you, and if I don't do it, someone will replace me. So it's like part of the job, and digital marketing is a quickly changing world. I want to ask you how you adapt AI, how you use this tool to improve or create better results.
Yeah, I mean, maybe first of all about the replacing people thing. I think everybody who's listening to a podcast or watching this live on YouTube is already doing their part on educating themselves. But there are 2 historical events. Like, one was the invention of the car, and then a lot of people who were like the drivers of the horse carriages, they lost their jobs. And there's a very mean way to look at this, but maybe some people are the horses and not the drivers. And there are a lot less horses nowadays in Western countries since the invention of the car. And when switchboards were operated, like the phone connections, people who have been working in the switchboard industry was mainly women who did that job. they never caught up to their peer group in terms of salary, even if they learned different jobs. So I think, yes, people who lose their job will not be replaced by AI, but by people with AI. But probably one person with AI can replace two people. And I do think all of us, we need to keep up to date. Otherwise, we will be left behind, and maybe we'll be the horses in the horse carriage example. Then how do I use AI? I think the biggest improvement is in the research, brainstorming, and data analysis department. Like, I can just put some data into ChatGPT and get insights that I didn't have before, and where I would normally have to talk to an analyst for a while, and then they would think about it for a day or two before they come back to me. And in brainstorming, I sometimes just write ChatGPT my challenges, like what I'm thinking. And I have to admit, really often it comes up with some good ideas. I mean, it never solves my problem, not once, but it often gives me interesting things to just think about. And I recently had a presentation at an SEO conference, and I always ask ChatGPT, please create 5 scenarios how I can give an SEO example for this or this topic. And there was a lot of can I use swear words on the podcast?
Yeah, sure.
There was a lot of bullshit in there. But every once in a while, it actually had a good thought that led me to thinking. And there's this thing called writer's block, right? Where you sit in front of an empty page, you don't know what to do. So I just tell ChatGPT, write me 5 introduction sentences for this or this. And then it's much easier. Like, if ChatGPT writes something that I don't fully agree with, it's much easier to get started on writing. And yeah, I recently had a team member present some rather complex data analysis, where he also said himself, previously he would have had to work with an analyst, but ChatGPT helped him to come up with some ways to visualize the numbers and look at them. And also ChatGPT helped a lot with writing the SQL queries, so he could get the data themselves. So I think this is the biggest thing. For me, it's not really content production, I have to admit, but I can imagine that for many SEOs, the content production part is one of the main use cases for ChatGPT.
Yeah, I think if I use for content production, but in most cases for tools calculating data, not for blog articles. I can't. I don't know why, but I can't write great articles with ChatGPT. I can ask for tips, suggestions to create the structure, many things, but I don't know why, but I can't write a great article with ChatGPT. So yeah, but I think this tool is developing, updating. Many things will come. And yeah, at least when human beings are responsible for content, before terminators will kill all human beings, we have time, to adapt to this tool. I want to ask about link building. The last time I get many questions about link building. Do we need or don't? It works or doesn't? And Google always shares with us link building don't play a huge role. It's not like many years ago. Today, links are not in the top 5 ranking factors, but many experts can tell, no, I don't believe Google. I think link building is very important. A website without links don't rank. And of course, I think everyone is right. For example, if someone gets a million traffic without links, I can't say this person is wrong. Yeah. If someone can't get results without link building, even big projects, like yesterday I spoke with co-founder of Surfer SEO, and he told me he doesn't know how to get results without links. You can get results, but not like great results. Some companies, like for example Neil Patel shares many years ago even that he stopped doing link building for neilpatel.com because he has authority, he has enough to get results. Forbes doesn't use link building. I think when you have high authority, you don't need link building at all. But can you tell how to find this balance? Do we need or don't? Of course, Neil Patel, Forbes have authority, high authority. Probably these websites don't need link building. But what about the rest? How to find this balance when you need, when you don't, and your point about that?
Yeah, I mean, as an in-house SEO for a known brand in Europe, I also don't do link building, right? We have the authority that we need. I think if I were to start a website from scratch, I would very much care about getting some links initially, just to make sure Google is regularly crawling the website. And I think the biggest shift in link building that happened in the last 10 years was to switch your mindset from link building to link earning. Basically doing things that lead to your brand or your name being mentioned and linked and referenced and be a source. And I think with things like digital PR or publishing data, publishing your own research, publishing case studies, white papers, just sharing resources, interacting with the so-called linkerati, the people who can give you links, which might be bloggers in some niches, might be journalists in others. I think that is the game today. And especially with EEAT, if you think about it, then links must be one of the main aspects of it, because everybody can write on their website that they tested a product and held it in their hands, and with AI everybody can create a fake picture showing the product and demonstrating that, yeah, I really tested this product. But people can lie. And I for a while I monitored a very successful spam website in Germany that had perfect on-page EAT. Like, it was all made up, and even the authors were fake, but they had long author profiles. They had a text, a disclaimer that, yes, a human being wrote this and a human being held these 10 razors in their hand, like before we said this is the best razor, yada, yada, yada. But it was all fake. And I think it's very hard for Google to evaluate EAT just with these on-page factors. I think links and also how others are talking about your brand online, how your brand is rated on the App Store and many other places. I think this is where Google can actually get reliable EAT signals. So earning great links in a positive context will stay important for the foreseeable future, especially since we can expect a flood of AI content. I think what we have seen this year is only the top of the iceberg, and we will see 100 times more content in 2024.
Yeah.
And it will reach a point where Google cannot crawl all that content. Because, I mean, it happened already a couple of years ago that in, I think it was Japan, there was a spam network that was so big that Google had to manually empty the queue of the Googlebot, because they had thousands of domains with 100 million URLs, all linked cross-domain, and it just filled the crawling queue, and it would have taken years to crawl all of it. And everybody can do this now, and it only costs, I mean, I guess for $10,000, you could already create a couple 100 million pages with mediocre content. And there are people who are willing to invest a lot more money into SEO. And then links become one source of information again for Google, one source of validation. And there are others, like, is a URL mentioned on Twitter? Is it mentioned in Gmail? It's also in emails that are sent via Gmail, right? Is it mentioned on other social platforms? Is it mentioned in closed chat systems? Is the DNS server requested by humans? Many other things. Also, the Chrome UX data can give Google an insight. But one key ingredient for this will be links, like recommendations, and ideally links that are verifiably human created. So having a link from a directory that links to any website is not really helping Google to understand the EEAT. But if Google knows that maybe Forbes, I mean, Forbes is maybe not the best example because we all know we can buy links on Forbes. But if a lot of newspapers link to a certain website and mention it in their articles, then that could be a great indicator of EAT, and that could be an indicator that this website deserves ranking. So link earning is not dead. I think link building for, at least on the enterprise level, there is no more link building. There's just link earning. And for local SEOs, for SMBs who just start with SEO, and for new websites, probably link building is still in the toolbox of recommended tasks.
Nice. Malte, let's talk about, you mentioned about the future. You share what you think about today link building, but you mentioned about the future. And I want to ask more about your forecast. For example, when I started my digital journey, we created only e-commerce content. Google was not smart to recognize the user intent and ranked well. Then we switched our attention to blog content. And today, according to data, most traffic are coming to blog articles today, plus 50% of all traffic are coming to blog articles. But I'm not sure about the future. I'm not sure. And let me explain why. I disagree when someone can tell chatbots, AI bots can't replace search engines. And here's why. For example, I decided to buy a new Tesla in Florida, and I search on Google, can I use this autopilot driverless feature, in Florida, because each state in the US has different law, and I couldn't find a simple answer on Google. So Google shares a lot of content, probably great content, but I don't need this content. I need a simple answer to simple question. Then I searched on BART and got this reply for a few seconds. The second time I decided to open new business, and in that case I needed to find what kind of documents I need to have it to submit. And yes, I used this Google, it's my habit, and I couldn't find the list of documents. I don't need anything else. Why I need to create a business? Why I can earn money with that? So my intent was to please show me a list of documents. That's it. And I searched this on ChatGPT and got answer for a few seconds without any fluff, without any nonsense. So I found a simple answer to a simple question. That is why I'm not sure about the future, that blog content will get results in the future if chatbots can reply. And when SEO specialists complain about feature snippets, that Google can steal our content, but Google at least links to our content. Chatbots don't. They just steal, rewrite to show in other words. So your prediction about the future in content marketing and blog content?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the most positive outlook on blog content. I think a lot of blog content right now works because it's well optimized and people target keywords that have search volume but not a lot of content. So Google has to show something. But I think if a company's strategy is to produce blog articles that can be written by ChatGPT, then that strategy is already dead. Because tomorrow your competitor can do it. I mean, I could do it. I could just register a random domain and start writing blog content with ChatGPT on any topic. And a lot of smart SEOs will do it. So it's a race to the bottom. Who can produce the blog content for €1? Who can produce it for 5 cents? Right? If the blog article only costs you 5 cents to produce, maybe you are okay with only getting 10 visitors from Google. But if it costs you €200, just internal cost for like the graphic design, salary for the people who writes the content, etc., then you need probably thousands of visitors to break even on the blog article. And so even if people keep searching with Google, just the fact that AI can write a lot of blog content that is currently produced by SEOs will just steal all of your content. And there might be some niches and maybe some languages where this is less of an issue, but over time, smart SEOs will find your niche and they will spam it with AI content. So you need a differentiator like your brand. And then the second aspect is, will people even keep asking these questions on Google? Will they maybe ask them on BART, on ChatGPT? And here I also think if it's like if the search intent is simple information, like a yes or no answer, or a very quick summary to answer the question, is coffee healthy or not, for example. There, I think a lot of traffic will just stay on Google. Either Google will have the search generative experience on top to answer this question, or maybe people will just ask their AI assistant. I think there's still a lot of information where people want search results, like with blue links to go to a source, like for research topic, for anything that is transactional. But yes, I do believe that a lot of SEOs, especially people who discovered SEO as basically you publish blog articles. And I mean, there are a lot of people who call themselves SEOs who are also right now successful and who are very good at selling the services, but who essentially only publish blog articles, have never done anything else. I think they will have problems, very significant problems, especially if they are in a competitive market like the United States, or any English-speaking markets, or any of the major languages where the AI tools are already quite good at producing content.
Yeah, I agree. And according to data, 12% of people search replies to their questions in chatbots. So 12% for 6 months, or at least I don't remember when, in November that was released. No, not 6 months. Oh, more than a year. Man, I lost my track. Okay, so 12% of people are looking for replies in chatbots. 30% are looking in YouTube, TikTok. By the way, my son always does it when I ask him to search the reply to his question on Google, and he used TikTok. He doesn't know about Google. So, and plus 60% still use Google, and it takes time to change habits. It's not like for a few days, even years, decades to change habits. But if augmented reality or chatbots will reply to these questions much better, then of course people will change habits. Anyway, if you can create products, you can be fine. It's not like search engines can help us to submit content to cover sales funnel if chatbots can reply to these questions too, but you need to buy products, so you can buy from AI. So yeah, I think e-commerce will be fine in the future, but if chatbots can reply to these questions, why not? Yeah, we can give some part of the market. And Malte, I want to ask my final question, my common question. I asked this question before in our podcast about your experience. And this question is important for two people. The first person is founders, co-founders who are looking for ways to learn the basic and to find, hire, or cooperate or outsource great experts to their teams, to their projects. So, but they need to understand how it works, why SEO is important, how to get traffic. After learning the basic, they can hire someone who can help them, to go ahead. The second person, students who are looking for ways to learn from scratch, especially today when we have AI, when things are changing fast. So let's help both students, founders. If you start today from scratch without any experience, knowledge, skills, what will you do today if you want to learn SEO from scratch?
So if I'm a student, I would go to learningseo.io from a later Solus and just follow the learning path. There's lots of free resources on there, lots of videos, and I would build my own website and try to apply these learnings. Because if you just watch a video, you haven't learned anything. You just have some theory in your head that you will forget. So watch the videos, read the articles, and then apply it to your own website. I think for founders of companies, there's the question if SEO is so important that they want to invest that much time into it. Because let's face it, there are many startups where SEO is probably not important for the first 2 or 3 years. They need to find product market fit. And until they know what their product is, they should probably use paid advertising, not SEO. unless they are very, very sure what their product is. But for most startups, that takes time. So I would ideally find somebody whom I trust, who has better understanding of SEO than me, and talk to them. I think for founders, that is the better way, before they spend a lot of time learning about SEO and then realizing they should actually have learned offline marketing, sales, and how to lead teams and how to, I don't know, cut trees or whatever the business is about. But yeah, if you have time and don't want to spend any money, learning SEO.io is the perfect resource, in my opinion. Aleda Solis really did an outstanding job there.
Nice. Yeah, and if you learn from Aleda Solis, from anybody else, from Neil Patel, from Malte Landwehr, you need to practice, you need to act, because you can learn everything. Without practice, it doesn't work. And my biggest attitude to get results is to practice. Sometimes I learn less. Sometimes I skip news. And I know great experts like Neil Patel. He doesn't read news, SEO news. John Mueller doesn't recommend to read a lot SEO news. So you can learn, but don't read all of them. And I have no time to read a teeny percent of all information that are coming every single day. But if you act, if you pay attention to your strong side, you will be fine. Just act more to have this energy. Fail a lot, I fail a lot, but I can learn how to do it better next time. Malte, it's a big pleasure. Thank you so much for taking your time, for sharing all this valuable bombs. Tell the best way how to keep learning from you, how to reach out to you, how to follow you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Best way to learn from me is probably following me on LinkedIn and Twitter, or X, as it's now called. But probably following me on LinkedIn is where I share the most interesting stuff.
Nice. So Elon Musk doesn't break your heart?
I mean, I would have preferred that he stays in the electric car and space and solar industry and not gets involved with Twitter and X. But I also understand that the company had some issues, and but yeah, I have very mixed feelings about him. I think he did some great things, but
Yeah,
I
of
think
course.
Elon Musk also especially said some things in the past that I just really don't agree with at all. And I
Yeah.
wish he would just stick to keeping his mouth shut and building electric cars and electric roofs, solar roofs, and putting rockets into space. I think there he can do a lot of good. But yeah, for Twitter or X, I have very mixed feelings.
Okay, of course. Yeah, I agree. Elon Musk is great, in my opinion. He's a great example how to be successful, how to help humanity to achieve new levels. I hope he will put human beings to Mars. Yeah, I hope I can see it in the future. And yeah, I agree about X. It's his opinion. I don't want to criticize successful people because anyone can fail. I fail a lot, and it's part of the job. Sometimes we can take some niches and can be successful with that, so we can change approaches. Elon Musk, if he loses $44 billion, for him it's okay. For me it will be much harder to go ahead with that. Okay, thanks guys a lot for listening this podcast. Follow Malte on LinkedIn, on X, on Twitter. So you can find all links in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify, and see you next time.